Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of I Am That Bitch podcast with the two Greek girls. Yes, we changed the name because I can't remember what the fucking name is of our segment.
And it was too long. We needed
So it's
as
two Greek
short and sweet
girls.
as we
I'm
are.
the Greek Massey. Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a great summer or had a great summer. Hi, Rue.
Hey, lady, the weather here in Ontario is going to be awesome for the last weekend of summer. I'm excited,
That's
but
great. I'm working all weekend.
I know I'm sad to see summer go, but happy to get back into a routine.
Yeah, I'm glad that I have my friend back because her kid's in school. So
I can
welcome
see you
back,
between the
Rue.
hours of the school bell ringing and the school bell to pick up. Oh, that's so
Oh,
funny. That's so funny.
so we took some time off.
We took some time off, yes. For those of you who don't know, Val's sister-in-law passed away. I know we had talked about that previously. So, as the Greeks would say, zois esas. And then they would say, so that means life to you. And they would
Mhm.
also say, na isaste kala, na tithimosaste. So like, may you be well, so that you can remember her and keep those memories close to you. Which is interesting that we're gonna do when we were talking, I was like, kind of like we should probably explain because there's so many things we Greeks do that
Yeah.
no other people do. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think even in the north we do different things too.
Yeah,
Specifically for my parents' village, apparently.
trendsetters they are up there.
Yes, we're such trendsetters. When I called my cousins to tell them that Tony's sister had passed, they said, okay, so I'm going to butcher my Greek because they speak Greek because they live in Greece. They also speak Macedonian and learning English. Kalo, how do you say paradise?
Calo paradiso.
That's what they said.
Yeah, good
Uh,
paradise. Yeah,
good paradise for her.
yeah. So wishing her a good trip to paradise, to
Yeah,
heaven.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very common. A lot, the other part is Eonia Tisimnimi, so may her memory be eternal. And that's kind of standard,
Now you
uh,
got that song in my head from church.
yeah, I know that usually the priest is doing the priest usually has the incense, so my
Yeah,
hand's moving with the incense. I
yeah.
don't know what the thing is called that the incense goes in. Isn't that horrible? I'm such a good Orthodox Christian girl. I couldn't tell you what it's called.
Are
If
you
you
though?
know,
Are you?
I am. Do you know? I was a Sunday school teacher. Um, if anybody knows what it's called, drop it in the comments because for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called
Um,
either.
anyway, but the as with anyone who's religious, obviously we similar to if you're watching and you're Catholic, and I can only speak to this because I went to Catholic school my whole life. We do offer the last rites similar to the Catholic religion, Protestant. Sort of our I call them our sister religions, really, because at the end of the day, we were one church
Mhm.
before we separated, and so that is something that we do. But I find it very different in terms of for us for us Orthodox Christians, the funeral is the last opportunity to say goodbye to the deceased. So, more than likely, if you attend an Orthodox funeral, you will, at the end, usually at the end of the funeral, you will be asked to come up,
Mhm.
pay your respects to the body,
Yeah,
to usually an open casket. There's usually an icon there. Kiss the icon and off you go.
yeah,
Which is not, you know, we do have wakes like other ethnicities, but that's not the last time you say goodbye. And I didn't realize, I think I was in high school. Actually, this came up with a conversation with the kid yesterday because one of her friend's grandparents passed away and she's singing a song as a tribute to the grandfather. And so they were talking about it at school and she's like, Mummy, like 8 of the kids were like, we went to a funeral and we went to a funeral and we went to a funeral. And I was like, everybody's been to a funeral? Like, I kind of was taken aback for all these 10 and 11-year-olds to have been at funerals. And
yeah.
then I was like, but truly, And when I think about it, all the Catholic funerals I've been at, it's closed casket, you're done. Like the wake is the part, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we're still, I don't want to say, not that you're not mourning, but we're still acknowledging that life, like with the last goodbye. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's funny because Vula was, she, we brought her back to the hospital because she wasn't doing very well. I'm going to just go back a little bit, because I want to talk about how when you're so sick, you still have strength. And it was just so awesome. She had made the decision to go into comfort care on Tuesday, and she was completely verbal and um, talking and whatever, fine. And we went in and we cried about the decision, and literally the next day she went like 50 to maybe more 80% nonverbal, just like one words, and then Thursday nonverbal. And they had her on a lot of pain medication. So we called the priest in to do the last rites. And she was aware, as stoned as she was on this medication, she was aware that the priest was there. So when the priest started talking about or started singing, her hand, literally where she could barely move, her hand went up to make her cross.
Oh, I have the chills.
Yeah.
I
And
have the chills.
we were all stunned. The priest kept going, but he didn't realize how stunned we were because she was just drugged out, at
Yep,
the end of
yep.
life and whatever. And it was just an amazing thing to see that she
Mm.
actually made her cross, and that was it. And she died the Friday morning. So, um, as Greeks, like, we have my mom, thank God for my mom who did everything, the traditional stuff, because I have no clue. Well, I know a little bit. Like I rushed from the hospital to go buy the halva, the, the feta. We call it chanitsa in Macedonian. What do you call the
The
uh,
koliva?
koliva?
Yeah,
The wheat.
yeah.
And then we have wine, olive oil, bread. Those Greeks always with the olive oil.
We can't. So the wheat, the koliva, what do you call it?
Mhm.
What do you,
Chanitsa.
chinitza?
Chanitsa.
Chanitza. Okay.
Yeah.
So the koliva or chanitza is something that we do uh at the, when someone passes, and then it becomes also something you do uh when you pay your respects, again, usually at 40 days. There are some others in between, but the big one for Orthodox Christians is the 40-day memorial mass.
Mhm.
And then, you go 1 year, 3 year, whatever. Some people do it annually, some do it on the threes. It's, whatever is comforting to the family members is what I say. But that is like, you don't have a memorial mass if you don't have koliva. Like
Yeah.
it's not a thing. Like and I grew up in a church, a much larger Greek community than the one we have. Well, let me rephrase that. I grew up in a much more active Greek community than we have here, because we probably have almost the same people, but it's a difference about who goes to church and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And like, we had a woman. You needed koliva, you knew, you called the lady, and koliva were there on Sunday, and she had a business. All she did
Yeah.
was make koliva, because, unfortunately, this is a part of life, and or death is a part of life. And she all the money she made, other than her expenses, went to the church. So she wasn't
Oh,
making, a bajillion dollars off of this. But there's a certain I hate to say beauty around it. Like, if you've seen, especially if you've been to or seen any photos of a memorial mass in Greece, some of these become like pieces of art. Like, I hate
mm,
to say it. They put the wheat, little pieces, so it's like little circles. Some have raisins and walnuts in it, and then
yeah.
they do like an icing sugar, and there's a decorative cross that they make.
Yeah.
It all depends on the artist, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And that's something that, if you go to a memorial mass for this person, like, it's frowned upon if you don't eat it. Like, I remember talking to a few people there, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is not like an
I didn't
option.
eat any.
This is not an option. You have to take like a bite.
I
And
didn't.
they're
I
like,
only like the
okay.
sweet one. My mom made. You have to have a sweet one and a non-sweet one.
Yeah.
So I'll eat the sweet one because it tastes good.
Yeah.
But What's the significance of,
Oh, you can ask me that. The koliva?
yeah, like I know wheat, like wheat is very, because I remember when I chose my dad's casket, it had like the lid had like wheat in it, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful." And I'm like, I just randomly chose the casket. I didn't know what I was doing. But what's the significance? Do we know?
You're gonna make me Google right now?
Can you?
Yeah, I can. Give me a minute if I can turn to the side.
Yeah, yeah.
What do we think of my profile, everybody? Hold on.
It's beautiful, darling. It's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Tuftissime.
Too, too, too.
Greek funerals, significance,
Well, I know the wine represents Jesus's blood.
okay, so they the berries. So koliva is boiled wheat berries. Okay, they symbolize everlasting life in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Okay,
That's why a traditional Orthodox funeral or memorial service will always have koliva,
got it.
which makes so much sense.
So we also, from people from my parents' village, Vevi Banica, we would put towels on the casket.
Oh,
And I don't know, don't ask me what that signifies, but we did do that for my sister-in-law, and the funeral home went, thank God. Because,
what?
well, when you're carrying the casket, these guys, you're supposed to keep the towels on it. It just is a
Oh,
nuisance.
sorry. So the towels go in with the.
No, no, it
Oh,
goes for every pallbearer. So
oh.
there's six guys, right? So there's six towels, three on each side. And I don't know what it represents. She goes, that's something that we did. So my husband's family is not from where we are. They're close, but my mom seems to think it's a Vevi thing.
Okay.
That tells,
Yeah,
because you being a Southern Greek,
I have no idea. Yeah, I've not seen that at all.
yeah, I don't know what it signifies, but maybe I'll have to look that up. Or if
Get,
somebody's Macedonian
yeah,
that knows
let us
why we
know
do it.
because I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
I think a lot of the Canadians that were there when the priest showed up were a little bit shocked to see the service.
Well, it is an actual mass. Like I think
Yeah.
that's what's different, and not that a non orthodox, for lack of a better term, service isn't, but you can go very religious. Like the Catholic, I've only been to Catholic funerals, so that's all I can speak to. The Catholic funerals I've been some that have been full blown masses, the whole nine yards. Like
Yeah.
I get the chills when I even think about it. I ended up taking Catholic communion because a teacher of mine passed away when I was a freshman in high school, and she was my grade 7 teacher. And so we went, so okay, she was my grade 7 teacher. Fast forward, I'm in grade 9. Her son is in grade 9 with me.
Okay.
So his mom was my teacher. She passes away. So whoever from the class wanted to go, I went to a Catholic high school. Whoever wanted to go to the funeral could go to the funeral. So obviously she was my teacher. I went to the funeral. Well, I stand up because at this point, I think we're going up to, even though I know what the Catholic mass is like, because again, I've been in it, I've been at it for so many times since I'm in grade 9 at this point. I just assume we're going to do the Greek funeral part, which is to pay our respects. So I get up because everybody's getting up. And the next thing I know, the priest, I'm like, oh, I'm in line for communion. What do I do? And I can't spit it out and I can't not eat it. And there
Yeah.
wasn't
Well, I don't think it's a
that.
bad thing, is it?
No, no, back then it wasn't like now you can just stand up and go like this and the priest knows not to give it to
Oh,
you. But I was like, and then I ate it and I was like, I can't even, I no offense, Catholics, but your communion, like we're used to wine and bread. This wafer was like
oh,
but it can be, my point is a full-blown mass or something very simple. So I think when non-Greeks see the Greek funeral mass, they're like, whole, like it is
it's a lot.
steeped in traditions and a lot of chanting and a lot of it's a lot of everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I remember when my dad died, and that's like 27 years ago. And my mom, I was 25 years old, and my mom was taking me to church, and we went to St. D's at Thorncliffe Park, and
Oh,
like
yep,
thousands of people came on this
yep,
one day that was specifically for the dead,
yep,
and they went through everybody's names, and
yep,
there's hundreds of people there. We were there for hours, and I turned to my mom, I said, I love you very much. We are never doing this again.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, it's not like, I know my dad was blessed, my brother who passed away too. It is what it is. Yeah, people think, they're like, "Oh, you're not showing emotion." I'm like, I've had so much death in my life that I just fuck Rue. It's a
But
fact of life. It is what
I
it
was
is.
just gonna say, listen, I think, we all, it's funny because my kiddo asked me, she goes, "Would you want to live forever?" And I said, "No." And she was like,
Mm-mm.
"You wouldn't?" And I said, "No, because if no one else was living forever, why would I want to be here by myself forever? Like, what
Yeah,
good is that?"
yeah,
And I think, I don't want to get philosophical about life, but at this point, it's, you know, you and I have talked about it, not being afraid to die.
yeah.
I'm not saying I want to die tomorrow. That's not at all what I'm saying,
No.
but I have faith that I will be going to another place, and in my mind a better place. That, if it was to happen, if it was to happen before it's time, it's okay, because
Yeah,
I know I'm blessed, and I've been blessed. And but I think I also live by the fact of, life is not a dress rehearsal. Make today count. You've seen me
you
say
say that
that.
all the
People
time.
have like stolen my tagline. I to this, used it as their own, taken
Yeah,
out my RDK after, but it's fine. My point is that I, from a
I'm not
very
bitter
young,
about it.
I'm a little bitter about it, but that's okay. She's a bitch. Anyway,
She could
um,
be watching, girl.
it's
She
all right.
watches
It's all
everything
right.
we
And she
do.
knows who she is. Stealing my tagline. Um, my point is that you can't live life with regrets,
No. And
right?
unfortunately, my sister-in-law did. Yeah, she turned to me and said, "I regret a couple like these things," and we had some discussions, and I said, "At this point, Vu, there's no, you don't like let it go.
Yeah.
You lived the life you lived." And on a lighter note, we chose music. I have to. I told forget it. It's too depressing. So let's just. I want to lighten it up because she chose the music that was being played in the funeral home. So the priest comes in, and I don't know if you noticed.
We were all like this in the back.
So the priest comes in, the room gets quiet, and you think I said to the guy, "Can you turn the music off?" And what song is on? Fat Bottom Girls.
We all were like, what? Silence. The priest is like ready to start his chanting, and that was like the last line heard.
And it's Fat Bottom Girls. And I was like, okay, Vu.
We got
She
you.
made
Yeah.
everybody
You
laugh.
made your point, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she was a fat bottom girl. That's for sure. It was quite funny.
Oh.
But it was a lot. We did it all in one day, which is good. Because my dad's was 3 days. Steve's was, I think, 2 days. But yeah, the one day, and my husband doesn't have a lot of family. Um, it was good. It was done. It was over. You can deal with the emotions and kind of get back to your new normal, well, a new normal for my husband because she was his twin. So it's a little bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
He woke up the next day and said, I just feel like something's missing, like something's
Mm,
just not right. So, but he's strong and he was a great brother. He took care of her. Um, very, like, yeah, my sister-in-laws are very lucky to have the brother that they have.
mm.
Um, Anyhow.
And time, right? Unfortunately, time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they say time heals all, but it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we wanted, I know this wasn't the most fun and
Uh,
exciting episode, but it was something that, due to, reality of life, we wanted to share, because there's a lot of people who I think have no idea of
yeah.
what it is. They've been fortunate enough where death hasn't affected them yet.
Yeah.
And others who might listen to us were like, what? You guys actually, you go to a funeral and you see the person? Like, I skipped the wake because I don't want to do that, right? Like, I had a friend who
Yeah.
was like, I legit skipped the wake because I didn't want to do this. And now you're making me go up there and do this? I was like, I'm not making you do anything. I'm like, we can't leave the church if we don't go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so I think it's important to share, and it's
Yeah.
knowledge, right?
Yeah. And we also wanted to share why we haven't been recording
Exactly, exactly.
because the last few weeks have been very difficult. But anyhow, we might um we're gonna keep recording as long
Yeah,
as long as we can, but life does get in the way.
yeah.
So if we miss one or two, please don't be mad. We will be back. And on lighter notes, hopefully.
Yes,
So
for
I know
sure.
we'll be on lighter notes.
For sure, for
But
sure.
so thanks for tuning in, everybody. And stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, make some comments, what you guys want us to talk about, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Tilakya.
Mwah!